Hey guys, today we have Anand Gupta and he's having total 2 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Anand, how are you?
Doing great. So,
Okay, shall we start?
hi, sure.
Okay, so Anand, can you please give your introduction in brief and also about your recent projects?
Sure.
Hmm.
So, like currently, I'm working as a specialist programmer at Infosys.
Okay,
I have also worked at a startup, at a fintech startup called Nextplay.
okay, okay.
So, so that was a startup. So I got a great exposure and great
Mm-hmm,
experience in
mm-hmm,
developing microservices from scratch.
mm-hmm. Okay,
So, so there, my day-to-day activity was to design end-to-end document for the microservice and then write
okay,
the code using the
okay,
Spring Boot as a tech stack.
okay.
So there I developed multiple microservices. Like one was notify to send the notification, one was
Okay.
write connect
So how
to.
you are sending notifications?
So to send the notification, at the like I didn't understand the question. How
Uh,
means like the third party service that we were using.
okay. Which third party service?
Okay, so it was. I will try to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
The notify microservice, the use of it was to, it was used by a different microservice in the architecture to
Okay.
send the notification. For
Mm-hmm.
example, if we are correcting ride-based payments and we have to
Mm-hmm.
send notification to the our customer or merchant, so
Mm-hmm.
for that purpose we were using notify microservice.
Okay.
So yep, that was the thing.
So are these notifications real time? Are you
Some of
using
them
any
were
real time architecture tool?
yeah, some of them were real time. Like
Okay.
we were using mostly some for we were using Kafka as well for this.
Kafka.
Yep, and
Okay.
like we were using for like
So may I
sync
know the name of topics of
uh,
Kafka?
like name of topics uh, it were basically on the notification. Uh,
Notification.
yep, notification on write collect or the or it's like
Okay.
it was the merchant based topics as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So your day-to-day task is creating a REST API, fixing bugs, troubleshooting, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So what's the most recent feature you have worked on?
So most recently, I developed a project that was named
Uh,
as GitGuard. So this
what?
was the
Git?
GitGuard.
Git guard. Okay.
So this, so
To
in
prevent
this,
the secrets publishing into the Git. Something
not
like
only
that.
that, much more
Okay.
above that. So what was happening? Like my current client is Apple.
Mm-hmm.
So there, they were like manually scanning the each repository for like
Mm-hmm.
checking some of the pre-receive hooks
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be implemented in each of the repository.
Mm-hmm.
So my task was to generate a jar file that
Mm-hmm.
once run on different pre-receive hooks, like we can give in the build parameters
Mm-hmm.
that which pre-receive hooks we want to check and for which organization we want to check these
Okay.
kind of, and then it will generate the CSV file and send it to the like to a mail that has been given into the build parameters.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. So do you know about equals and hash code method?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens if you override equals but not hash code?
So so what happens is
Mm-hmm.
uh, what happens is when it is used, it is a object class method. First of all,
Okay.
equals and hash code are object
Mm-hmm.
class method, so we
Mm-hmm.
need to override. So what happens is like when we use set or map,
Mm-hmm.
so there we when we try to find the collisions, so what happens is in the map we have the buckets.
Mm-hmm.
So for matching the bucket, which bucket the element is in, so for that we use hash code.
Hash code.
Correct. And then for then for exactly matching that in that bucket, if it already exists, for that we use equals. So
Mm-hmm.
if we don't do that, so
Mm-hmm.
there is a inconsistency while we create the map or set data structure. Basically,
Okay.
yes, this one, uh, and apart from
This can
this,
lead to incorrect behavior, right?
this can lead to incorrect behavior. And like
Mm-hmm.
it is a saying in Java, like when if a two objects have hash code equal, they might not be equal. But if they are equal, the equal method returns true, then their hash
Mm-hmm.
code must be equal.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So let's say you want to store custom objects in a hash thread, but duplicates are being added. What could be wrong in your object design?
Just come again, please.
You want to store custom objects in a hash thread, but
Okay.
duplicates are being added. I mean, hashtag functionalities,
Mhm.
uniqueness. I mean, they should be uniqueness, but
Mhm.
duplicates are being added. What
Mhm.
would be wrong in your object design?
So the thing, the equal method wouldn't have been correctly like overridden. So in that case, we could have override the equal method, and based on some unique identity, like for example, if the customer you're saying, na,
Uh,
so in that ID should be unique, and that based on
mm.
that ID, we should like check the equality.
So, Anand, before moving ahead, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material, structured step by step by myself, expert, and MNC's interviewers. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There's a 99% chance that interviewers will ask questions from this material. So basically, it contains a lot of material categorized by experience level. Means each experience level has different material with all possible interview question and answers for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. And if someone needs this material plus two real client enterprise projects for reference, video lectures plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs, then they should check the interview preparation kit. I will provide the link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview. Okay, so have you worked with polymorphism?
Yep.
Okay. So can static methods be polymorphic?
Uh, no, static methods can't be polymorphistic.
Okay, why?
So basically, when we put the dot class file in the JVM,
Mm-hmm.
so at the class loading itself, at the time of
Mm-hmm.
compilation itself, class loading itself, the static method get attached. So
Mm-hmm.
they are not attached at the time of runtime. So the
Okay.
method hiding takes place in this case.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's say you need to create a payment system where different payment modes like
Mhm.
UPI, card,
Mhm.
and net banking behave
Mhm.
differently.
Mhm.
How will polymorphism help here?
So yeah, so here there is a well-known design pattern called strategy design pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So that works also on the polymorphism itself. So what
Okay.
we will do, we will create a interface that collect
Mm-hmm.
payment, that would
Mm-hmm.
have a collect payment method, that would
Mm-hmm.
be an abstract method. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will extend three, as you said, three kind of three kind of methods: the UPI payment and credit card payment and some other payment.
Net banking.
And we will extend it and we will override this method. So now when we from the calling function, we could use
Mm-hmm.
any of them as per the requirement, and we have to execute the same method, that is collect payment.
So Anand, can you tell me the real-time use case of encapsulation?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so real time use case of encapsulation.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
of a scenario. So basically in encapsulation we have all the methods of a, so I can say it as whenever we use third party services.
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, if we are using something like web client.
Okay.
Okay, so when we are
Mm-hmm.
using web client, so the web client has given us we install the dependency and
Mm-hmm.
we create a bean, and then we expose some of the methods. So
Okay.
like it has already in the contract itself has some of
Mm-hmm.
the exposed methods. So we
Mm-hmm.
don't know underlying how underlying it is working, but we use that
Mm-hmm.
that method, abstract methods itself.
Mm.
So this is one of the use case, like we use
Yeah,
third
yeah,
party
yeah.
services to take the help. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So how does making fields private and using getter setters helps achieve encapsulation?
Uh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
first of all, creating the field private help us
Mm-hmm.
to avoid the updation as well. Like
Okay.
for example, if we create something private, then we can't directly access it. So if we can't directly access it, we can't update it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like it is like stick to it. Okay, and apart from this, we can fetch the fetch using the get methods. Like, can you again ask question and bit
Yeah, yeah.
clarify?
So how does making fields private and
Mhm.
using getter setters help achieve encapsulation?
Okay. Mm.
Okay, so let me tell you.
Mhm.
By making fields private and using getter setters, we restrict direct access to object data, right? I agree.
Right.
This allows us to control how data is accessed and modified. and adding an extra layer of security and flexibility, such as validation or transformation. So that's how it is achieving encapsulation.
Got it. Got it. Yes.
Got it? Okay. Okay. So, moving ahead, uh, can you please brief on abstract class?
So okay, so abstract class is basically a class that has
Uh,
some of the zero or more abstract methods.
okay.
So what does abstract method is like, we want to the extending the class that extend it,
Mm-hmm.
that that can override it, and that can like it will show a compile time error itself at the
Mm-hmm.
time, like if it doesn't override it. So it
Mm-hmm.
helps us to like give the kind of contract itself, like that
Mm-hmm.
these methods should be implemented.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Can we create an object of an abstract class using an anonymous class?
Okay, using an anonymous class. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think the object of abstract class can't be created.
Okay.
Yep.
The correct answer is yes. An object of an abstract class can be created using an anonymous subclass.
Okay.
We can define the subclass in the form of an anonymous class and instantiate it.
No,
Okay.
we can just like going back to the question. Question was like,
Can we create an object of an abstract class using an anonymous class?
okay,
Hmm.
and the answer is
Yes, an object of an abstract class can be created by using an anonymous class. We define the subclass in the form of an anonymous class and instantiate it.
oh, okay, okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's say you want to provide partial implementation and leave some methods for subclass. What
Hmm.
approach you will follow?
So we have to make this class as well as abstract class, because you have to, if all the unimplemented method or abstract methods are not implemented, you
Uh,
need to make it an abstract class.
mhm. Yeah, correct. Okay. So what's the difference between array list and linked list?
So in array list, like uh, we get the like uh, we can directly access the each of the element, and the linked
Mm-hmm.
list, they are created in the form of like one node is connected to the another node.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is one of the difference. So direct access in array list is possible,
Okay.
and in linked
So
list,
which one is better for frequent insertion at the beginning?
uh, linked list is better for the
Linked list
frequent
is
insertion
better.
in the beginning, and array list is if you want to insert in the no linked list. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's correct. Linked list is better for frequent insertion at the beginning,
Yep.
because it can elements in constant time over,
Correct.
while
Correct.
list requires shifting elements.
Correct. It has to like resize it
Yeah, yeah.
and shift it.
So let's say your application frequently inserts elements in the middle of list, then which one would you choose and
In
why?
the in the middle also, like linked
Linked
list
list
is
is
better.
preferred. Okay. Have you worked with iterator?
With
Iterator.
uh, not much, but yes, I have a bit knowledge of it. Yes.
Okay. So what happens if we modify a collection while iterating over it
Huh.
using an iterator?
So so when we try to uh, uh, yes, so when we try to
Mm-hmm.
execute or modify, right, modify the collections while iteration, we
Mm-hmm.
will get a concurrent modification exception,
Exception.
because like because when we try to edit or them remove
Mm-hmm.
some elements from it, so we will get the, this is called as fail fast, like.
Okay.
Yep.
So how can we do this safely?
So to do this safely, like we have some data structures that we like, for example, we can have concurrent hash map, and we have
Mm-hmm.
copy and write array list. These kind of data structure we can use it, so
Mm-hmm.
that we don't get that is called fail safe, and we don't get concurrent modification exception, because they create a copy of it while iterating and making the changes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell me where you using lambda expressions in your project?
So okay, so lambda expression majorly when we are using stream, along with it we use lambda expression.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from this, we with the functional itself with the functional interfaces we use lambda expression. So like we don't need to, when we are using functional interface, like we don't need to create a object of it or extend the interface and then create a object of it to run the method. We can directly
Mm-hmm.
give the implementation using the lambda function itself, and we can run that.
Okay. What's the difference between map and flat map?
uh, okay, I think like flat map is used like, for example, we have a nested entity in it. For
Mm-hmm.
example, we are iterating over object, uh, over a list that is a 2D list, and it has a nested entity inside it, nested list inside it.
Mm-hmm.
So using flat map, we can like iterate over it as well, like
Mm-hmm.
over the nested one as well. And using the map, we iterate over the top of top first. Like if we have a 2D array, and if we are taking it as a nested one, so
Mm-hmm.
we iterate over the top one only.
Okay. Mm, correct. Okay. Moving ahead. What are Spring Boot starter dependencies?
So some of them are Spring Data JPA,
Mm-hmm.
Spring MVC, uh,
Okay.
uh,
So
and
what happens if you add conflicting starter dependencies?
uh, okay, conflicting startup dependencies. Like they both of them are having some nested dependency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, like I don't exactly know what happens, but
Okay.
it might take
So if
the.
conflicting dependencies are added, so Spring Boot will throw error related to being defined definition, conflicts, or dependency version mismatches, something like that. So it is important to resolve these conflicts. We can either by excluding or overriding dependencies.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to quickly set up a Spring Boot REST API, which starter dependencies will you include?
Like Spring Data JPA,
Hmm.
Actuator,
Okay,
and Spring Security, uh, s-
okay,
Spring uh, Lombok I will also use because it will help
mm-hmm.
me to write the getter setters. Uh,
Okay,
and for the database, I will use Postgres,
okay,
and I think
okay. What's the difference between component service and repository annotation?
at the rate component at the rate repository.
Mm-hmm.
So like at the rate component is like a like we can say it is like uh, repository is a specific of something specific we are going to define for a
Repository.
component. Like for example, repository, or we are using any other stereotype annotation like
Mm-hmm.
repository at the rate service. So we are
Mm-hmm.
saying that we are giving some metadata about it, like we are
Mm-hmm.
going to do something in the
Mm-hmm.
repository. If we use it will create a bean like we
Mm-hmm.
do it in this component as well.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from this also, when we get the like when we get the SQL unchecked exception, it will SQL checked exception, it will convert it to unchecked exception.
Okay. So my next question is, can we put repository annotation on service files and service annotation on repository files?
Okay. uh, I think it's not a good practice, but I think we can put it.
Mm. Yes, we can put it, but it's not a good practice. Okay. Uh, Please brief on Spring Boot Data JPA.
Okay, Spring Data
Mm.
JPA.
Mm-hmm.
So like we start with the like we have the Java tables, like we have the
Mm-hmm.
Java object and we have the SQL tables. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a object relation mismatch, impedance
Mm-hmm.
mismatch. So
Mm-hmm.
to handle this, we have Hibernate.
Okay.
So to handle this, one of the implementation of the Hibernate is JPA. Then
Mm-hmm.
we have another implementation over above it, that is CRUD repository. And I
Correct.
think over on top of it we have Spring Data JPA that has both CRUD and pagination as well. So
Mm-hmm.
so we get the list of like named functions as well as the pagination uh,
Mm-hmm.
functions as well when we use Spring Data JPA.
Okay. Let's say you want to fetch all users with pagination and sorting. Which repository and methods will you use?
JPA repository I will use, and I will
Okay.
first create a page request, which will be using page request.off, and which will have size and page number, and then the sort will be created by that sort.by. We will give the field name itself, and then
Mm-hmm.
we will say ascending or descending, and if another field is, we will append it dot end. So this will be create a page request,
Mm-hmm.
and the pageable API we will use
Okay.
for this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is Spring Boot profiles?
Okay, so Spring Boot profile is for example, we are using two kind of environment,
Mm-hmm.
dev environment and prod environment.
Mm-hmm.
So we could have different configurations for the dev and the prod, and we can use annotation at the rate
Mm-hmm.
profile and we give which one we want to use.
Okay. Okay. What happens if multiple profiles are active at once?
What happens when multi?
Multiple profiles are active at once.
Okay, I have not used multiple one.
Okay, okay. So if they are active, and multiple profiles are active, Spring Boot manages configuration from all active profiles.
Okay,
If they are conflicting configuration, the order of the profile declaration determines the one used.
okay,
The order of profile declaration, right?
okay,
It
okay, got
determines the one used.
it. Okay,
If they are conflicting configurations.
got it, got it.
Okay. Okay. So you want to run different bean configuration for dev and prod. How will profile help?
Okay, so when we have the different, I think in the bean, like uh, we have to create different beans based on the
Mm-hmm.
profile
Mm-hmm.
itself. Okay,
Okay.
I think in the bean itself, at the rate bean does have that parameters to give which profile it is, and we can create. And by using that, we will get to know that which on which profile it needs to be created.
Okay. At the rate profile also we can use.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep. At the rate profile, and then in the brackets,
We
we
can
can give
put the
the
environment name.
yes. Yes.
Yes. What's the difference between valid annotation and validated annotation?
Okay, so in the valid annotation, it's basically for the request body we use majorly, and
Mm-hmm.
we get the constraint modification exception. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just a second. Method argument not valid. And constraint. So in one of those, we get method argument not valid exception,
Mm-hmm.
and in the I think in the validated we use basically with the path variables, and we get a constraint violation exception.
Mm-hmm.
Bit confused which one for which, but method argument not valid I think is for valid, and for validated it's constraint violation exception.
Yes. Okay. Correct. So moving ahead, brief me about something related to Spring Security. Few
Okay, okay, yes,
lines on Spring Security.
sure, sure. So spring gives when we are using spring boot itself, so we
Mm-hmm.
just need to uh, im- uh, implement add the dependency spring security
Mm-hmm.
dependency, and give it using this single security we will get the Spring Security implemented in our system. So
Mm-hmm.
we can the username is root, and when we don't do any configuration, the username is root, and the
Mm-hmm.
password will be on your your on your terminal when you run the server.
Mm-hmm.
So you can configure the Spring. You can give the username and the password itself. This is the basic one. So what we can also do, like Spring, what happens in the Spring Security, we have chain of filters,
Mm-hmm.
that one connected by another, and
Mm-hmm.
we can intercept the request while going inside our controller, and while it is getting back the response. So
Okay.
what happens is now what we can do is we can create roles
Mm-hmm.
and we can have permissions.
Mm-hmm.
So what happen is we create a security configuration file. There what we will do, we will for each of the APIs, like for example I have some API slash v1 slash management slash star, we can say, for like
Mm-hmm.
whatever we are after it. So I can permit the roles which can do it, and inside that also, if I want to check for the post put get,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if there are two roles, user and admin, both of them are allowed, but the create API will be allowed by only admin. So in that, what I will do in the post one, I will add the permission itself. Like for example, it can be admin create. So that
Mm-hmm.
permission I will not set in the user profile. So there are
Okay.
two things. Using these two things, we can do both authentication and authorization with very much ease using Spring Security.
Spring Security. Okay. What is the default user password behavior in Spring Security?
So I told you like root is the username default,
Okay.
and password will be on your CMD. That will be a
Mm-hmm.
hash password on CMD itself.
Okay. And what's Spring? I mean, how it is implemented in your project? The same way you are telling, or? There are some Auth2 or some other stuffs are there in your project?
Like in initial phase, I did it very basic one.
Mm-hmm.
I used, like, I didn't use even Spring Security. I just
Mm-hmm.
hash the DTO in the
Mm-hmm.
base64 encoded, and then send the response, and user can like decrypt it and then again check the password. But
Okay.
now I am using JWT itself, using
Mm-hmm.
this and this Spring Security combination. And this is,
Mm-hmm.
when I implemented it, I found it like it is super easy once you get to know, and it is super effective as well. Like you get all the capabilities.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So, have you used enable scheduling annotation?
Which annotation?
Enable scheduling
Uh, no, I didn't use this
for
annotation.
scheduled tasks?
Actually, mm, no, I didn't use
No.
enable
Have you
scheduling.
used cron jobs?
Yes, cron job. I have, like, in one part of my project was
Mm-hmm.
implemented by someone else, so
Okay.
I know a bit about cron jobs.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. And uh, have you used cache?
Ah, yes, I have used
Which
Redis.
one? Which Redis cache?
Yes.
Okay. So inside the Redis cache, in Redis cache, is Redis template thread safe?
Is Redis template
Thread safe.
threads? Okay. Hmm.
Okay, so let's say you want to cache frequently access data. How will you integrate Redis with Spring Boot?
So I will implement, first of all, I think one of the dependencies there, Spring Data
Mm-hmm.
Redis, I think
Mm-hmm.
that I have to add it. And after that,
Okay.
there are some pre say
Uh-huh.
there, I have to give the credentials of the Redis where I want to store
Mm-hmm.
the cache, and then we have some annotation like
Mm-hmm.
cacheable, @cacheable,
Mm-hmm.
cache put, and cache evict.
Okay.
Cache put to like update, and cache evict to delete, and cacheable to cache uh,
Mm-hmm.
the data, and we like use some of the IDs so that whenever it
Mm-hmm.
is fetched, we can give the cached response.
Okay. What's the default logging mechanism in Spring Boot?
Mm, uh, I think uh, log4j2,
Oh,
we have to import it.
yeah. Log back.
Log back.
Yeah, it's a default Spring Boot mechanism, logging mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do you change the default logging labels in Spring Boot?
Like in the application properties itself, we can,
Hmm.
there is a, like
So
there
which
is
logging mechanism you guys are using currently?
a, like currently it is, I think, logging error.
Log4j2 or what?
For, yes, currently log4j we are using, and like
So how
level it
you
is
are monitoring any other tool for monitoring and analysis
like
logs?
currently like first of all, I think our plan is to first, like currently we are having that we have to move all the logs at one places.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the first plan, then later we will see how to analyze it.
Mm. Okay. Okay, got it. So Anand, now I'll give you one coding question. You have to solve that by using Stream API. Please share your screen and open any editor. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Should I tell you the
Hmm,
question?
sure.
Okay, the question is you have to filter. You are given an array of numbers. You have to filter even numbers, double them, and collect the result into a list and then print that list.
Okay.
Mm.
So I have to double them. Okay, just multiply by 2, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sure. So let's say we have an, okay. So let's say what are, let's say some numbers are there.
Mm-hmm.
Two, all are even. Okay, 11. So
No,
yes.
no, number can be even and odd.
Nahin, I am saying I
Oh yeah,
mistaken.
you put the odd numbers. Yeah, right.
Arrays dot stream dot uh, filter. So I want to filter the
Odd numbers.
odd numbers. Okay. Uh, Modulo 2 double equals 1, and then I have to double it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So by
map.
equal to 1, you will be able to filter odd numbers, right?
Uh, I think yes. Let's check it once. Dot map. Then again we have element dot element into two. And I think now what we want, we have to like print it or we have to transfer it to another list.
Anything you can do. You can print it or transfer it.
Not for each element system. Just a second, I will just import.
Mhm.
Stream is in util itself. No? Uh,
I think I
arrays dot stream arr dot filter. I have filtered the odd numbers element modulo 2 double equals to 1, and then I have mapped the element multiplying by 2. Then for each element I have tried to
mm,
print it. I think this should work.
yeah, yeah. This should work, but I ask you to filter odd numbers. Oh, sorry, even numbers.
Okay, acha, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
but it is fine. Yeah, now run.
hmm. So as we are multiplying by 2, we are getting
Well,
the result as
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So now moving ahead, let me give you one more question. Mm. So have you used method reference?
Uh, some of the places
So
like it.
let's say if you have a list of strings and want to print each one. So can
Mhm.
we use method reference to do it?
Yes, yes, yes. Of course, I can use it here only.
Can you
But
please do it?
I think it would be like just a second. I think this should work itself.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay, system dot out dot println system dot out dot
System dot out, then colon, then
then println.
println.
Yep, work.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So you can